This is Chef Ruben. Today we'll be making fresh salsa. I hope you enjoy it. The first and most important ingredient in making your salsa is the tomatoes. I like to grow my own tomatoes. There is nothing more tastier than growing your own tomatoes. They're better than any store-bought tomato you can buy. As you see, I have different varieties. I have the small, big boys, and so forth. I like to mix them all together for a different type of taste. But any tomatoes will work. Here you can have anywhere from 6, 7, 8 tomatoes. We're going to make a very large batch today for my friends who like salsa. These are the items we need for our salsa. Our first item here is cilantro. Then we have some jalapenos, some serranos. If you don't want to be too hot, you could always take a few out if you would like. That would be more milder. Some white onion. I like the white onion because it looks very good in my salsa. You could use the purple onion or whatever red onion or whatever onion you like. Some limes. And some lemons. Of course some garlic too. I like my garlic from Costco. And now we get started. Now one of the most important items for the chef is his knife. It must be a knife that is very sharp and very well balanced. You must have the good weight because you want the knife to cut the stuff for you. Let me demonstrate. Very little pressure. Remember, try to keep the blade away from your fingers. You want to curl it. Keep it close. Not like this, but like this. Keep it close to you. You want to cut the tomatoes. Like little bitty squares. Notice the juice coming out of the tomatoes. A little more. We'll get another tomato. Cut off the stem. Get it force. Then we'll cut it again. Little squares. What is very important in salsa is not only how good it tastes, but how it looks. If you would put all these ingredients into a blender, it would taste very good. But it would look very bad. Doing this way, you can make your salsa look very colorful. Leave a little chunk like that. It'll be very appealing to the eye. That is very important when you like to eat salsa. To have it very appealing to the eye, not only the tongue. Do not do it this fast at home. I am professional. That's why I can do it this fast. But at your home, take your time with the sharp knife. It's very important. See how it's very important, my knife. It's resting on my knuckles. You want to be one with the blade. Okay, we have enough here. I like to use the cutting board with a little reservoir. That way it'll catch the juices. Make it a little more. And after that, we will take it and dump it into the bowl. Very carefully. And we will continue this technique till our bowl is bubbly right here. Now I've cut up all the tomatoes. Look at the consistency and the texture of the tomatoes. Looks very pleasing. There might be a lot of liquid right now. We might take some out a little bit later, but we'll save it for right now. Now I want to cut the jalapenos and the serranos. Now this is very important about this part. If you wear contacts, make sure you put them in first before you do this. Because no matter how good you try to wash your fingers, you will get it in your eyes and it stings very bad. Believe it. I've done it before and it wasn't very pleasant. Again, we'll cut the stem off of the jalapenos, the chiles. Same as enseñadas or serranos. You have to roll your R's very carefully in order to say it right. Again, with the sharp knife, remember to use your proper cutting techniques. Never lift your knife in the air with your hands around. If you want to lift your arm and do the cutting like they do it, make sure your hands not around. Do that. See? Hands are not around. But it's not very useful. We need your other hand. That way, the speed you want. And the cutting. See how the weight of the knife will basically cut itself for you. You really don't need no pressure. The knife will do the work for you. Very nice color. Look how I cut the jalapenos, very chunky. Now when the jalapenos go into the salsa, you must leave it in there for a while, an hour or two, maybe even overnight. That way the seeds and the jalapenos will soak into the salsa. It'll make it even more hotter and more flavorful. But then of course, you can always serve it right away. It is your preference. But my preference as Chef Ruben would leave it in there for a couple of hours to marinate the ingredients together to make it more rich and flavorful. We do this for a little while until we get the right consistency that we like. Look at the colors. Green, shiny. Looks very pleasing to the eyes. You cannot get that in the blender. I cannot emphasize that more. Do not use a blender unless you're making a smoothie or something, but not for salsa. Very good, very good. Make sure you never touch your hands to your face at any time, but it will burn very, very good. There we go. We'll put this into the salsa bowl very carefully. Ooh, that might be a little bit too much jalapenos, but that's okay. I like it hot. It's getting very heady. Mix it a little bit. Looks very good. And we'll clean this up and we'll do the rest. Now we will cut the onion. This might be too much for the salsa, but we'll see how it looks like. Cut it in half. And we'll remove one of the outer edges. Get it. And that will go a little deeper. Same thing with this one. Cut up the stem. Get one of the outer edges off. Then we start cutting. This white tomato will very look good in the salsa. We'll bring out more color. We have green already, and red of course. And this will make yellow ones. It will make it very colorful, very pleasing to the eye. But I don't want to add too much salsa. Excuse me, I don't want to add too much onion to the salsa. It might overwhelm the flavor. Be careful. Some people are very sensitive to the onions and let it start crying. For that, people say to cut underwater, but I don't like to cut underwater. You just really cut very fast. If not, take a break. People wonder why you cry when you do the onions. It's a chemical. It's a chemical that the onions release. Very scientific. But I do not very scientific today. Today we only concentrate on salsa. Very carefully, we do that. That looks about enough for the salsa today. I will not add this other part of the onion. We'll save it for later. We can use it for other ingredients. Put it in a little can. And we'll put this in the salsa. Be very careful. Dancing. Put it in the salsa. There should be enough. Don't want to put too much in that. Stir it around. Yes, look how pleasing, look how good that looks. With the whites and the reds and the greens. Looks yummy. Let it sit. Now I cleaned up the cutting board again in the knife, and we're going to get the cilantro. Wash the cilantro. Now, for me, I do not like a lot of the stems in the cilantro. The other flavor comes from the leaves. So, in order to do that, I like to what they call a rake. I rake the cilantro. We're going to rake all we can the leaves off the stems. Of course, we cannot do all of it, but we'll just do as much as we can. Like taking the leaves off the tree. Just rake it off. There's a lot of waste here, but that's okay. The cilantro is pretty reasonable at the store. We just want the good part, so we're raking it off. It's like we got most of it already. It's a very easy technique. Something Chef Ruben loves to do. So rake it. I rake it. I like the rake. There we go. That should be good. Got most of it off. We'll discard that. And we'll just cut the cilantro as normal. It doesn't splatter a lot, so that way we can go faster. We don't need our other hands very clear, so we don't have to worry about injuring our hands. Cilantro doesn't really splatter very much, so we go very fast with this one. That's it for the cilantro. Put it in a saucer again. We should add more flavorful and add more color too. Make it look very pleasable to the eyes. Cilantro is a very important dish for the Mexican culture. I love it very much. Stir that around. Looking very good. That deep, rich green of the cilantro with the red and the white and the light green. Looking very colorful. Very appetizing. Now, we're going to cut the garlic. The very heart and soul of the salsa is the fresh taste of the garlic. Make sure you use fresh garlic. Although you could use powdered garlic, chopped garlic in a can, minced garlic, all the other garlic in a can, like I said before, and nothing compared to fresh garlic. So when you cut the garlic, it releases the flavor. I like to get my garlic from Costco. Yes, I am a Costco junkie. I admit it. But Chef Ruben really likes the deals at Costco. Continue cutting this very fine, but not too fine. Again, we like the color of the garlic. Add to the repertoire of the salsa. Going very rapidly here. Cutting away. Make sure we practice our knife safety. As you get down, the blade is resting on my knuckles again. Now, with no injury, because you don't want blood all over your garlic. Not very sanitizing. Then it hurts. And then you get garlic in your wound. That hurts even more. Almost done with the garlic. We're going to do something very special with the garlic after I cut it out. Something that a lot of people don't do with their salsa. But me, Chef Ruben, like to do the salsa. That's very unique and very good. The technique I use with the salsa will bring out the flavors. Okay, we're just about done with cutting the garlic. That should be enough. Try to judge it. Throw away all the stems part. Looks very good. Cut up a little bit more. Looking good. There. Be very careful. That should be enough. Now we have moved over to the stove. One thing I like to do with the garlic that most people do not do with their salsa is to cook the garlic. First we get extra virgin olive oil, just a little bit. Make sure that the pan is very hot already. You can tell by the heat by just going like this. Or to put a little bit of olive oil. You can see if it's hot. Yes, little smoke. Put a little bit of olive oil. Better. You got the smoke coming up, that means it's hot enough. Put the olive oil, we put the garlic in the olive oil. It's on a high temperature, so that means we must stir it constantly until it gets a golden brown. What this does for the garlic, it will sear in the flavor. And it will bring out the flavor due to the olive oil. The aroma is very pleasing to me. Nothing like cooking garlic in olive oil. Constantly stirring. Do not want to burn it, but you might like to have a little brownness on the garlic, which is always good. It cooks very rapidly since I've cut it up in little pieces. Notice the caramelization. Notice how the olive oil is saturating the garlic. We're almost done. Cook at a very high temperature. And of course, I use Costco. As it was without saying. They make a very fine olive oil. Of course you get very fine olive oils, but that would be for salads or dipping or some other specialties. But this will be just perfect for the garlic and the salsa. Look at the color. See how it's going to nice golden brown? That's very, very appeasing. Looks very, very good. It's almost starting to turn a little bit burnt. It's going to get a little bit browner. So we'll take it out of the heat now. And move it over to, of course, the salsa. Now we take the garlic, put it into the salsa. We're almost finished with the salsa. Mix it up. It's very good. Starting to take shape now. We're almost done. Now we take our limes and the lemons. Get the lemon and we roll it like a pin. Rolling, 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 rolling to break out the juices inside. Cut it. Forgot the tool I needed. Get it momentarily. We need a strainer. It's very important. We get the strainer. That way we catch all the seeds. You don't want someone to eat your salsa and they be chomping on seeds. They get very mad at you. If you don't have a strainer, you could use your hands and catch it by that way. Or you could just pick it out with a knife. One more onion, one more lemon. Roll it like a rolling pin. It's very satisfying to roll it. Get it again. Look at all the seeds. You can do it by hand, but it takes time. Again, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Again, squeeze. Make sure no one's around so you won't scream in the eye. See, 2 fell in there. You get that right now. Sometimes it goes over. Almost fell in there. There we go. With a little more that fell in. Very good. That's it. Now we do the limes. The limes really don't have very many seeds. Depends what kind of limes you get. We'll just put 2 limes today. I don't think we need any more than 2 limes. See, there's no seeds in the limes today. Or any day for that matter. So we just squeeze it in there. These are very juicy limes. Sometimes the limes are very not juicy at all. You got lucky this time. Look how much juices. More juices than the lemons. Very juicy limes. Now, put some salt to your taste. Need a clove there. Pick up the clove. There you go. 2 more. Put some Mrs. Dish. I like Mrs. Dish. It's up to you if you would like to put Mrs. Dish, but I like Mrs. Dish. She's cool. Mrs. Dish. Some fresh ground pepper. Little bit of fresh ground pepper. Mix it up. Push down all the ingredients, like so. That way they all come together and the juices will bond as one. Later on, but before you serve it, you can always take out the juices like this. Discard that or save it for later. Save it for your spaghetti sauce or whatever you want. But you can take a little bit out later. That way it will look more chunky like that. But for meanwhile, we'll let it sit for right now. And I think that is it. Voila. Chef Ruben would like to thank you for watching this video. But many more could come. Thank you, my friends, for watching the very first episode of Cooking with Chef Ruben. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, make every day a Cinco de Mayo day. Right?
Este amor apasionado anda todo alborotado por volver. Voy